Hello coin collectors out there, welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. In today's video we are going to talk about top 10 facts you might not have known about the United States penny. Now this list was inspired by a Time magazine article from a little while ago, about 10 years ago, but all of these facts remain relevant today and they are all fun and exciting. Normally on the channel, what we do is we talk about more the nitty-gritty details. That's evidenced by the last three videos that I produced, which were the 1961 D Washington quarter, the 1973 Ike dollar, and the 1911 D penny. But in today's video, this is kind of for a wider audience. Maybe some of you that aren't very experienced in coin collecting will find this top 10 list interesting, and will get you more excited about the hobby and get you looking for some of these cents that we'll talk about in today's video. If you're more experienced, I'd be curious to see how this top 10 list compares to maybe what you find the most interesting facts about the United States penny. Now quickly, let me give you a rundown of the top 10 things that we are going to be talking about. Number one, we'll talk about the most expensive error penny that is out there. Number two will be the 1909 Lincoln cent. Number three will be the billions of pennies that are produced. Number four will be the wartime pennies. Number five will be the fact that the penny is more expensive to produce than it's actually worth. Number six will be the legal right to refuse pennies. Number seven will be the Denver Mint. Number eight will be the British heritage of the penny. Number nine will be the 1909 SVDB cent. And number 10 will be the mill, which is actually a denomination that is smaller than the penny that states have used in the past, but obviously not recently because of inflation. But it has been authorized by Congress for them to use. Now, let me slide this top 10 list out of the way right here. That was just kind of a general opening to share with you. We're back on the red felt, and I'm going to share one coin at a time. We'll get a good zoom in on the penny. So one of the most, I think it's the most expensive error coin that is out there is the 1943 copper penny. So in 1943, which we'll talk about a little bit later, the United States penny went to war, and so we had steel cents, which are these ones right here. However, in 1943, there were actually a few copper pennies that were produced that weren't supposed to be produced. So in 1943, all of them should look like the one on the right. However, you might have one that looks like the one on the left. So the 1943 copper alloy cent is one of the rarest out there for coin collectors. And in 2008, one actually sold for $1.7 million. So these ones are worth quite a lot of money. However, they are very scarce, and they're also very prone to counterfeiting. Now, what a counterfeiter would have to do was just have a similar die and change the date from 1944 to 1943. So if they had a planchet and they just made a copper penny from 1943, they might be able to convince someone that it is authentic. However, they wouldn't get it past any coin grading agencies like PCGS. So if you're looking to buy one of those rare 1943 copper pennies, please buy one from a coin grading agency and not one that you see just floating around there on eBay. All right, number two, the land of Lincoln. So in 1909, that was the first year that Lincoln appeared on the United States penny. Teddy Roosevelt commissioned the coin to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln in 1909. While most people really liked this design change, former Confederate soldiers, as you could understand, were upset at the prospect of carrying around the image of Lincoln in their pocket. So 1909, the first year that the Lincoln penny was produced. On to fact number three. There are billions of these cents being produced. Looking at one of the more recent years, I've got 2016 mintage in front of me. There were 4,698,000,000 of them made just at the Philadelphia Mint alone. There was an additional 4,420,000,000 of them that were produced at the Denver Mint. So these are being produced at the billions and billions and billions levels. So there are a lot of them out there. I'm sure you'll come across some of them in your day-to-day life. Now back to 1944 for coin fact number 4 is the wartime pennies. So in 1943 we mentioned the fact that they should be steel and they should look like this one right here. So in 1943 World War II was happening and the US Mint had to come up with another way to produce its most popular coin, the penny, after given the fact that they had to take some of the copper out of it. So they started making pennies that look like this right here. Unfortunately, they wore out quite easily, and that's why they're not being made today. So the 1943 penny is going to be a steel penny. That is fact number 4. On to number 5. The penny is more expensive to produce than it's actually worth. So I'm going to kind of swap in some new pennies, as we'll get into these ones later. But the penny actually costs 1.4 cents to produce. Now that wasn't always the case. Back in 1909 when they first started coming out, a penny could get you a lot of things. It could get you maybe some eggs, send some postage with it, but nowadays with inflation, a penny doesn't really get you much at all, and because of the metal content, the copper prices have gone up and the value of the penny has remained the same. It actually costs 1.4 cents to produce each penny. So that take that 1.4 cents, so we're losing 0.4 cents on every one that's being produced. Multiply that by the fact that there are around 8 billion being produced each year. It is quite expensive to make these pennies. Some legislators have introduced bills to eliminate the penny, but none of them have passed so far. Now on to fact number 6. Sorry, I don't have many visuals for these middle facts. But fact number 6 is that companies actually have the right to refuse you to pay in pennies. Now, although federal law states that coins are legal tender, it does not compel anyone to actually accept them. So cases like this have come up, most notably in 2009. A Chinese restaurant refused to let a customer pay for his dinner with 10 pennies along with the other cash. And then that went through the court system, and then they found in the right of the Chinese restaurant who refused to accept the pennies. They are not compelled to accept them, even though they are legal tender. All right, number 7. Number 7, I've actually got one to share with you. Let me just pull in this one right here. So this one has the D mint mark on it. Now, one of the more recent videos I made was about the 1911 Denver Mint penny. 1911 is a special year for the Denver Mint penny because that's the first year that they were being produced. Now, for a while, pennies after 1909, still majority of them were being produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Now they split them about evenly between the Philadelphia and the Denver Mint. So the first year of production for the penny, which is fact number 7, was 1911 at the Denver Mint. And now on to number 8. So the word penny actually has a British heritage to it. So the word penny comes to you from Great Britain, and it is actually from the Old English pennig, pronounced roughly the same as penny. So the United States did not invent the penny. By the 18th century, that's when the United States started using the penny. However, UK dates all the way back to the 8th century. So the United States, we did not invent the penny. We just kind of copied it from UK. Now, number 9. Number 9 is the 1909 SVDB cent. Now, I don't have one of them because they are very rare. There are only 484,000 of them made, and the reason why very few were made is because people had a kind of a uproar, complained a lot about the fact that Victor David Brenner, VDB, had his initials on the cent. Now, where they were located were, if you flip it over down here at the bottom, right there. Let me get a better penny for you. So the penny, the VDB initials are going to be located right there for the 484,000 that were produced at the San Francisco Mint that year. People didn't like having his initials on the coin as they thought it was a way of him kind of advertising his own design and collecting business. And number 10, the last in the top 10 facts, is that there's actually been authorization by the United States Congress back in 1786 when the penny was worth a lot more to make what's known as a mill. Now, a mill is 1/1000th of a dollar, which would be 1/10 of a penny. Well, the federal government never actually produced a coin that was worth 1/10 of a cent. Some states and local governments issued mills made of such cheap metals such as tin, aluminum, plastic, or paper. By the 1960s, however, the coins had depreciated so much in value that no one else was producing the mill coins. All right, everyone, that's the top 10 facts I've got for you. Let's quickly recap them. One, we talked about the 1943 copper penny, which is one of the most rare and expensive pennies out there. We talked about number 2, which was the start of the penny in 1909. We talked about number 3, the fact that billions of these are being produced today. 4 billion were made in 2016 at both the Denver and the Philadelphia Mint. Number 4 were the steel wartime pennies. Number 5 were the fact that it is more expensive to make these pennies than they're actually worth. Number 6 is the fact that companies can refuse acceptance of the penny. Pennies are legal currency, but no one is obligated to accept them. Number 7 is the Denver Mint, which started in 1911 for the penny. Number 8 is the British heritage of the penny. Number 9 is the 1909 VDB cent. Number 10 was the fact that the mill exists, so 1/10 of a penny exists that some states used to use. Thank you very much for watching. Best of luck coin collecting out there, and have a great day, everyone. Enjoy.